Bing, bing. We begin again. This is in the middle of the show right now. I came home for an hour. The name of my shul is Beth Jacob. If you take away the H, it says bet, which means can be bet in the Hebrew language, or to make a bet, or Tibet, the place in the world. Jacob can say J, or a blue jay, or a cob, a jay and a cob on a corn that's yellow, a jay that's blue and yellow, the energy of the chicken, and the energy of the electricity. The firing action. Beth, Jay, cub, blue jay, cub. A cub? Is that a bear? September, October, November, December, and hibernates? Jacob, a cub. Maybe it can be the Chicago Cubs. Who goes? She goes. She goes to go. The cub or a club? Must be a big club of some sort. All the bears are invited. Even the Son of God. S-O-N-D. September, October, November, December. D is the word to say. It's almost like saying Jamaica. If you really say it, Jamaica. J-A-I, even though it's J-A. Or do they spell it J-A-I? Which means J in French, which means I have. May means but. I have but. I have but what? C-A. What do they say in Jamaica? A Jamaican. Okay. What would he say? In French, that would be a D. So we would have Jamaican, D, candy. Jamaican kind of candy. Marijuana to smoke. So you can open up the second level of your mind. The other level, in fact, you're just opening up a door. You have no mind other than what you want and decide to think. The information is not within you. You search for it. It goes up and down through the vines. So divine, a vine of mine, a valentine, and then obviously sinus has to be connected. You know, if you flip yourself upside down or plant yourself into the ground and just show a picture of the empty space in your lungs, it'll look like a set of roots has placed itself inside of you. As far as holes go that I perceive, it goes in through your nose and into your mouth and into your lungs. Once those are full, my friends, you have to wait till you take another breath. Your ears have holes. What goes in goes around and comes back. It diversifies within your mind. That's what Mars is all about. Mars is like an empty can. You throw a whole bunch of stuff and what you get out of it, okay, stops the viruses from coming around. Like somebody's on Mars. If they're on Mars, okay, then God's letting them do it. What my belief is, no one's on Mars. We're inside a shell that apparently, because of the blue color, could be inside Neptune. If not, we could be the sands of Saturn. What is God? He's the four corners of 1379 on your telephone. He puts it together and he becomes the one dot in the center of everything. The five position, because he's always center. Everything is always centered around him. If anything is anything else other than, that would mean we are the center inside the center of the center. We are under the center. We were sent here. We were sent here by her and him. Hashi, hashi I am, Jamaican, I have, I am. Je suis, in French, means I am. Take away the I of the birth, it just means I suck. But it really says Jesus. Number 74, 7 by 4 is 28 days of February. In fact, there's 28 days in every single month. 1, 2, and 3 is all subject to question. A 31-day month would have a 2 and a 1. A 30-day month would have a 2. A 31-day month would actually have the 3. The 1 does not play. The 1 is out, the 1 is gone. The 1 shows himself inside the 3 cube. He's got 2 exterior corners and a center. And then he has to recreate another world because there's 2 parts missing, 1 and 9. So he reconnects the 1 and 9. God plays from the center as the 1. But actually, in between the center, he pulls 1 and 3, okay, with 7 and 9 into the center. and it totals to 20, plus the 5 at the center is 25, 2 plus 5 is 7, 52 weeks in a year, 1/4 of 4 times a quarter is a buck, and so on and so forth, and seasons and months and everything else. In the middle of the day of the week is a Wednesday. The middle planets is Jupiter, is the Sun, is Pluto to our birth and ever, ever, and everlasting. For as long as life comes, Pluto will be here, the dog, to deliver the dog forever. Where were we back? What was I talking about? Irregardless, have you ever played the game Boggle? I'm going to show you a couple of bowling pins. The word pins can be used for spin, or pin, or nip, or sin, or sip. Bowling, O-ring, bowl. Half a bowl. Half a bowl sliced up becomes a lot of use until it gets to the end. And at the end, when everything is cut up, all you're left with, after making all those, cutting up the bowl, all you're left with is a football-sized dot that looks like the eye. The eyes that we see. Does it look like a duck? Can be an H, can be an I. You unfold it, it looks like a square. You see another one. If you unfold it, there's a square inside. If you unfold the last one and you take the last one, it's a square. So what we're going to do is when the wind blows and rounds off the square because of all the movement, we end up having more than one circle. So we have more than one circle, but now I have two. There is one on the top and one in the middle and one on the bottom. The same thing that goes for this one. There is also an eye on this one that creates a football. There would be a football on this side and a football on this side. Both sides are the 49-yard line. This is the passage in between the two so the ref can place the ball so the game can begin. So now we have the football, but if you were actually coming, we can lift some weights. But if you turn it around, it might turn into a bowling pin. If you want, you can swat it and use it as tennis rackets. But that's not the only thing it can do. These two things make the world go round. If you want to know how it works, I'll have to find myself a square in which I do not have a square. If no one understands why I'm talking this way, because what I do is I bounce off the wall. I grab what I could with what I could inside the other side of my mind. While tilting in one side, the next letter falls down. Once I see with the letter, I can know what I am saying. So all the time in between this, I'm just buying time to find the next letter without leaving any space in between. It's almost like a reserve, almost like a spare, not like a tire, but a spare place to put something. But you're putting something nowhere. You're just storing it. Let's say your mind is a storage area called Mars. It's the RAM, it's the energy of who you are. Earth is the building. Mars is the empty space to do the storage. Third planet and fourth planet make 7. Earth is the 5th letter of the first initial is E. Mars is the 13th. 1 and 3 is 4. 1 and 3 is 4. Earth is 5. 5 and 4 is 9. The last letter of Earth is H. It ends up with TH, which is 20th, 16th, 14th, 28th. All the elements of the TH heaven and the TH world. Do not forget about the time for Valentine or 17 or 20. So we take this, and I could not find my square. At this time, they find everything to be a square. So I'll take a ball and use a round, and we'll see how my square that I cut out to be round goes around this ball. So we'll take it off, and we'll make it in one area. We've got one area. We have covered 1, 2, and 3 sides. We do have the flaps that are going over, but I will show you how we are going to integrate these flaps with my second element. So I take the second element, and I will move away from the camera for 2 seconds. Do not worry, this is not a magic trick. I am not hiding anything from anybody for any reason at all. Although my shapes are a little too small to cover up this ball, I will show you what the angle of where I'm going. When you put it together, this ball, okay, you have this side and this side. And then on the other side of the ball, this side and this side, you have that short side, and then you have that short side, if you can see it. I'm sorry that it's not in fame or in form, but I'm going to try to conform. I'm going to try and show you exactly what it does. This goes into here. It flips around and goes back to here, in which these two flaps go around, and they create the lines of the baseball. Look very carefully. Follow the lines on the baseball one way and the lines on the baseball the other way. You have created the Eiffel Tower in between. You have created the Christ side, the sign of Christ. You got all this out of a round ball, out of a square area, out of a square room, out of pyramids that have one point and one floor, and apparently 3 and 4 angles. I'm not sure which pyramids they have used to make the implantation on this earth for the structure to grow. Some of the pyramids were holy. They had holes. Volcanoes were structured to exhaust from the earth. Everything that was put here purposely for the cause. We were the cause of everything that is. Isn't a word if you write it square. I looks like 1, S looks like 5. 5 and 1 is the one number, the one spirit of God. The 5 position he is in. The total is 6. Everything is 6. 1 through 3 equals 6. 4, 5, 6 is 15. 5 and 1 repeats. 1 and 5 is 6. The O letter. The 6th letter is the F letter. 7, 8, and 9 is 2 and 4 is 6, which creates the X of X-Man of who we are. As you can see, the big X and the little x look the same. You can create an X in 1 square. You can create a bigger X in 3 or 4, as many squares as you want, as long as you take the angle of the 45 degrees, which is actually 135 degrees. But anyways, 135 and 45 together is 180, except for the angle is a little different and offset from what we actually know, because the earth turns the same way. It rains the same way. God reigns the same way. He has to cut it on an angle so he gets a better view, a better overview shot. When you look at it, it actually looks like a square funnel coming in from 4 sides. If you do that all around, we're going to have to stop there, right? Now I'm going to go back and tell you some things I did in shul. Okay? One thing I want to remind you, we're going to jump onto poker for a minute. When you play Texas Hold'em, you get 2 cards in your hand. Every player gets 2 cards. There is 1 dead card, so you don't see the top of the deck, and they open 3. You have a choice, but you don't have much choice. What is in front of you is what you have. The 3 on the table is separated between everybody, which means the 2 in your hand at this point, if they're better than anybody else's, then you beat everybody on the table. But then it doesn't matter whether it's good or not. If you want to stay in the hand, you get 1 more card. So they throw 1 away, always blocking the hidden image, never to know what's unknown. And then 1 card is thrown, and then another card is thrown. At the end, there's a total of 7. You will only use 5. You will use 2 in your hand and 3 on the board. You will use 1 on your hand and 4 on the board. You will use none in your hand and all the board. You will have the same as everybody else or worse. If you are guided to go to the 7th position, then you would be in the center of the world of the Magen David that has 3 lines, crossing over in the 5 hole, which is actually the 7th position. Because of the name of the star and the 6 points on the exterior, it can only mean that the 8th point must be center, 7th point must be center. But there is also some add-ons to this, but we won't go any further. There's many things that I've seen today, so let's see if I can get it out here. I'm lifting the helmet and taking a look down. So once we know God has taken all 4 corners and he goes into the center, he's 5. But you have to think, that man is the 9 and he's the 5 to start out, because 1 point there, 1 point here, 1 point here, 1 point here is 4. And then he gets the center is 5, makes the center 5. But it's 6, because that's the way it is. It plays as 5 and 6. It's just like playing Monopoly. When you roll the dice and you roll 5, you are actually going to the sixth lot, because go is actually 1, but you don't start and count the go. You call it 0.0, and the one that you go first is the ones that you show off the dice. If you have 3 and 2, you make a 5. This is not like backgammon. Backgammon, you must follow the rules of the dice. The rules of the die. When it is time to go, you throw the die, and then it is over. Now you must make your move. The cube of 1 and 3, separating between the 2, because when you bring them together, it creates the 2. 1 and 3 is 4. You leave the center area empty. You must always take with you the heavens of all, because one time or another you will be in one. 7, 8, and 9 equals 24. The total is 6. The top and the bottom for the numbers used is 10. If you end up using the 2, then you end up for a totality, which makes the first one 4, a 6, and the last one 6. 6 and 6 is 12. 1 and 2 is 3, or 1 and 2. But now we have a complete equation. If we leave something out, we can understand how to get thereafter. Let me go on and see what I have. I have a little, but a lot more than I thought. One of the things about this is 1, 8, and 1. I was at the shul today, and what had happened is he told us all to turn to 1, 8, 1, 8, and 1. 1, 8, and 1 happened to be, if I remember and reflect, is June 30th. 1, 8, and 1 equals 10. 1 and 8 equals 9. 8 times 1 equals 8. Thus the reverse on the other side. The 8 and the 9 is 17. The 8 and the 9 is 17. If you want to look at it the way it is, it's 18 and 81, which become 99, which brings back the 11. The 11 is the one spirit, the K letter. 1 and 1. 1 and 1. One spirit, one God on one side, one spirit on the other side. They have to connect. Their numbers must become the same. This is your 17. 1 and 7 is 8. This is your 17. 1 and 7 is 8. 9 times 8 is 72. The reason we bring this back together is 17. You stand. Why? Because the 10th letter is a J and the 7th letter is a G. J and G is Jack and King, or God, and you've got 2. If you take the 10 from the originality and add it onto each side, you end up with 27. 2 and 7 is 9. 2 and 7 is 9. If you multiply, 7 times 2 is 14. 7 plus 2 is 9. 14 and 9 is 23. 5 and 4. Where does this 5 and 4 come from now? Wow, that screws up everything. I know what it is, but I must have just added it in. I'm just going to do it in a separate formation. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 and 4 is 9. 4 and 5 is 20. 4 times 5 is 4 and 5 is 9. The word that comes out from it is it. Who is it? It and it. 99, spirit, angel, man is who it is. 29 is the birth of the 2 world. That is the center. And the 9, it means that there is a passage where the 5 goes and God is. Well, now that gets overlapped again. And then it gets overlapped one more time. 3 worlds. 3 circles. 1, 2, 3. 3 dice, 6, 6, and 6 make the first 18. Then 3 more dice, 6, 6, and 6 make the second 18. Now you need the middle of in between. We're going to leave it at this. I don't like that I got mixed up, but since it's 2 worlds of I and I, 29 and 29 equals to 58. 58, one of the ways to get to 58 is TWO. The letter position and count of the letters equals 58. Or you go in creation, 18 and 18 letters, 36 numbers, always adding up the same box. 1, 10, 1 and 0. 19, 1 and 9 is 10, 1 and 0. 28, 2 and 8 is 10, 1 and 0. That's all the box of 1. Add them all up, it equals 58. 5 and 8 is 13. 1 and 3 is A and C. A and C is angel creation. It reflects the opposition of 7 and 9. And that is the whole world, and that is the whole game. There is a lot more, and probably a lot more unexplained. I do it as I get it. I try my best. I thank you. Have a nice afternoon, and a Happy New Year, even those that are celebrating it at Christmas. Because Christ lives, and He is an energy. He is more than what anybody has ever thought. And even if He doesn't live, He lives. Because however He would come back, He will still always be the energy of the Christ.